Today we're looking at this fully powered drum tipper with telescopic lift, powered clamping, powered lifting and tipping. It also has a weighing display, so it's weighing the drum and its contents during the lift and during the emptying of the drum. First of all, we get our key, switch it to the on position and pull the tiller down. We're now able to drive forward. We bring the pads around the outside of the drum and lift up slightly. And then we want to check that we're nice and centered. So we want the clamping pads to be in the middle of the drum, so we're clamping it evenly. We then press the clamp button. And on our rear panel here, we have a pressure gauge, and this shows how much we're gripping the drum and how much pressure we're applying. So we want to make sure we're in the green segment, which is where it's safe to lift. So we'll lift now. We've got a lift control on the panel, but also on the tiller here. I'm going to show you how high this unit lifts, and then we'll lower down and tip into the vessel. This is at maximum height. So we'll now lower down and bring it down to the vessel. So that's just a demonstration of the height. We'll now bring it down. We can start to tip forwards. We're going to just approach the container so we get a bit closer before we tip too far. So we get our tap nice in line. We have our weight on the back display, so now we can tare it if we want to determine how much we're emptying into the container. So now I'm going to walk to the front without the unit obviously moving. We have a tap here, so now we can empty it into this vat. Once we've got the desired amount into our vat, we can close the tap. The weighing system is measuring down to 0.1 of a kilogram, so the error is very small. It allows us, if we've got a tap like this, we can fine tune how much is in the vessel. So if we want, we can open it very gradually and just let a small trickle in, and then we can monitor the weight until we get to the correct level. And when we're at the correct level, we can obviously close the tap. We have the ability to print out the weight. So for quality assurance purposes, we can press a print button here. The display will print a little ticket. And we get a ticket with the date and time and the weight of the container. Or if we tare it, how much we've emptied since the last time we tared the container. Okay, so then to return it, we've got our tap closed. Going to move the unit backwards. Going to rotate it back to the vertical. Then lower it down. And then we can go get another drum, maybe for another product, to complete the mix. Drum released, ready to go. We're now looking at the rear control panel of the unit. To switch the unit on, we turn the key to the on position. We know the unit is on because the power gauge lights up. We can see our state of charge as a bar along the top. It's important to keep the batteries charged. The charger is built into the unit, and to charge the unit we plug a mains power cable into the right hand side of the unit. On the left we have our tiller. The tiller is controlled using two controls at the top, the yellow buttons. We push these forwards to drive forwards, and we push them backwards to drive backwards. We also have a horn on the top and a red button at the rear. The red button is there as a safety feature to prevent the unit crashing into you against the wall. We also have lift and lower controls on the left hand side on a rocker switch. Moving on to the panel, on the left we have lift and lower, green lift and blue lower. We also have rotation, rotating forward and rotating backwards. Along the bottom we have our clamping controls. In the centre we have a single button to clamp the drum. For safety we have two buttons for unclamping. To unclamp the drum we must use both hands and press the buttons at the same time. In the centre we have a pressure gauge which shows the clamp pressure. It's important when we clamp a drum that the needle on this gauge moves up into the green segment. The green segment shows that the drum is well clamped and safe to lift. We also have a yellow segment which may be required when handling soft drums such as fibreboard or plastic drums. With these drums we don't want to crush them and damage them, so we clamp at a slightly lower pressure. On the right we have a charging light and a clamp disabled light. When the drum is raised to height, the red light will illuminate, telling us that we cannot unclamp the drum. We must lower it down closer to the floor before the clamp is enabled. In the centre we have an emergency stop button. We press this down to activate it and cut all power to the unit, and we lift it up to reset it. At the top right we have a load cell display which shows the weight of the drum and its contents. Once switched on it will go through a setup program and then it will show the weight in the head. This has the usual controls for a weighing system of zero and tar, and this model also has a printer on the left hand side. To print we press the blue button and it prints out a ticket which we can tear off and keep for quality assurance purposes and for record keeping.